Thank you so much, Netherlands! Hey, you guys! It is William calling from Wee Wee Blogs.
It's Freddie here too, and we are, of course, back with another episode of What Really Happened at Eurovision. Although, are we still going with that title?
What happened, what will happen, it doesn't matter. This is the audio-only podcast.
We are continuing with the theme of looking behind the songs that are coming this year. And with us, we have Professor Joe Bennett.
So I'm Professor Joe Bennett. I'm a forensic musicologist, and I'm also a professor at Berklee College of Music in Boston, USA.
So obviously this year we're looking at the Netherlands, which I think is a big fave among the Wee Wee bloggers, am I right?
Well, certainly with me. This is one of the songs I would love to see win. I think this is so emotional. I think the song is very sweet. It's very musical. And it's also one of the few that I think will appeal to both jurors and televoters. It sort of has mass appeal. Now, I feel like the fan hype has died down, if we're being realistic. Like, this is not one that fans frequently drop, but I think this is one they do need to drop, because this is going to be incredible in Basel. I can already feel it.
What I think is interesting to note, though, is they could have come back after the whole debacle last year. They could have come back with this massive revenge anthem. They could have come back with Joost. He opted not to. But it's something different. Let's just get a little reminder of what happened last year.
Well, an update in the last few moments. The Dutch artist Joost Klein will not perform.
This is completely chaotic. It's a nightmare for the EBU.
Yeah, good evening.
Crowd have turned on Martin, so
you're good to go.
He's getting that response.
I broke the code and I broke the trophy. The trophy can be fixed. Maybe Eurovision needs a little bit of fixing too every now and then.
Now, while musically this is a big swerve away from Joost Klein, thematically it's actually not, because Joost was very much concerned with the family. In his music video, he of course lost both of his parents at a very young age. Claude's song, C'est La Vie, it's all about his mother, and in fact, he actually told me about the meaning of the song in an interview shortly after its release.
I was
Roll the
raised
tape.
in a not so safe environment, and my mother used to say, C'est La Vie, like sometimes shit happens, life happens, and things can be down, but there are so many things you can be thankful for, like I can see, I can hear, I can breathe, I'm healthy, and I can get a lot of energy from that. And like the session writing the song was a little bit therapeutic also.
Yeah, therapeutic, yeah.
Yes, it was therapeutic. It was insane. I was singing and thinking about what she used to sing to me, what she used to tell me when I was a child. Like, sometimes shit happens, but c'est la vie. So I was singing about my mother.
It's really lovely to hear from him. I think it's really kind of touching the way he talks about the meaning behind the song. But when I first heard the song, I think a lot of the musical references I was getting were kind of I Will Survive from Gloria Gaynor or Flowers from Miley Cyrus' big song last year, won Record of the Year, I think, at the Grammys. Both those are kind of anthems about picking yourself up after a heartbreak. Something, I guess, tell me if this is too weird of a link here, but I feel like after last year's heartbreak for the Netherlands at Eurovision, they've now got a song, C'est La Vie. You got to pick yourself up.
Hey, c'est comme si, c'est comme ça. No, I see what you're getting at, but also you could extend the notion of heartbreak to being forced to leave your country. He is, of course, a former asylum seeker. He fled the Democratic Republic of Congo with his mother when he was 9 years old. So there is heartbreak in that. You're breaking up with your country of birth in a way. You're being forced to leave. Yeah, love, romance, that hurts, but I'd argue that what he's been through hurts even more.
No, I think you're right, but I think that's the beauty of the song. You can apply it on so many levels, and I think at a Eurovision stage, a lot of people will be able to connect with it because everyone's been through something, doesn't matter how big or small or what the experience was, but that is the beauty in the song.
Let's see if Professor Joe Bennett can explain why the song resonates so strongly.
It's one of those sequences. It goes F sharp minor, that's the home key. Some kind of I'm actually blanking on the passing chord. And it's a thing that composers and music theorists refer to as the circle of fourths. So a little bit of music theory, hopefully not too heavy. When you have a scale, you have 7 notes and then the octave. So in this case, the scale is F sharp minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the octave, and you can go up again. And then the octave again, and keep going. So 7 notes to the octave, and then it repeats on note number 8. So the circle of fourths is where you start on a note, usually the 1, the root of the key. So in this case, a note of F sharp. And you move up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you move up 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can keep going. There's 12 possible combinations, and you, in music theory terms, you eventually end up back where you started. Most songwriters only use somewhere between 4 and 7 of the loop. But it's very satisfying to songwriters to go around this loop because it's very satisfying for listeners. It feels like a never-ending build. And of course, in a pop song, that's something that's very desirable. So as we go around it, it's sort of always propelling itself. And it sort of makes you want to sing chord tones that fit with the chords. And songwriters have been doing this for a very long time. So, you never give me your money. You only give me your funny paper. Not the right octave for me, that one. Or fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Oh, that's very interesting. The sort of revolving nature of it, going around and around, la tourbillon de la vie, they might say. It really does have that spinning effect. I get what he's saying. C'est comme si, c'est comme ça.
Round and around. Yeah.
It goes up, it goes down. Yeah, you kind of feel yourself, if you could see me right now, I'm not heaving, but there's this motion of the waves.
Oh, we're getting some interpretive dance
the
here behind
rhythm,
the
the
this
flow.
Is beautiful, William.
Thanks, babe. But it blows up at the end. It builds to this really powerful moment.
And I think when you then combine the more surface aspects of the production with it, so in this case we're hearing it's not far off a similar tempo to I Will Survive. Go on now. Go. Walk out the door. Da, 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 da. They're very, very close in tempo. The chords sort of draw you into wanting to sing those very intoxicating intervals that there's always a new one coming along. And in this case, the chords change every bar. So at this tempo of 124 beats per minute, you've got roughly a chord change every 2 seconds happening. So it's constantly driving the song forward in a very satisfying loop that eventually gets back to where it started. And that's the definition of a chord loop. As I say, as a forensic musicologist, I'm really interested in copyright and song similarity. But a lot of pop fans get a little bit overly paranoid about this stuff. They go, oh my gosh, it sounds like Miley Cyrus, somebody should sue. And this is what the lawyers and the musicologists call a commonplace building block. Everyone is allowed to use the circle of fourths because J.S. Bach used the circle of fourths and Mozart used the circle of fourths. It's a public domain part of music theory and everyone has access to it. But it feels good to sing, so why not keep reinventing the same wheel?
Mr. Bennett, Professor Bennett, that was real interesting. That was real interesting.
Yeah, what he also went on to say was that actually with songs like this and the kind of the loop, the way they go round in the circle of fourths, they can be very, very hard to end musically without coming off very, very cheesy.
So they choose to actually create a palindrome shape to the song form. The song starts very small and it ends very small because we've been bopping along to that I Will Survive chorus lots of times round and round the loop, and there's no climactic way out of it dynamically, but there doesn't need to be because we've already, had a great time listening to that self-propelling chord loop in the chorus.
But what's interesting is this ends, I think, in a really nice way. It's almost not like a death, but it's a very soft ending. Typically, you would expect people to have the big power note, the big bang, sparks shooting in the air. But this one, it's like a sweet, tender ending. It's like, C'est La Vie.
And that is why I think it has the potential to do amazingly at Eurovision, because if you can make the audience cry, just feel something, and that is like, there are certain ways to make people cry or feel something. It's like either go really big or go really small. Do you know what I mean?
This song makes you feel throughout, but then by ending with that little death, that little quiet fade, you feel more than you do when the previous 12 acts have all ended with a bang.
Yeah, exactly. And you think of all these songs, I think of like Ich komme or whatever, it like ends in like almost an explosion, but this is the absolute opposite. Sonically, I would say there's not actually a lot that kind of speaks to his cultural identity. It doesn't scream Netherlands and it doesn't scream Congo to me specifically, but I think he really brings that with the visuals, the dancing, the artwork.
The artwork is interesting because I asked him about this in our interview, and I said, "Oh, are you paying tribute to the Democratic Republic of Congo?" And he was like, "The sun, the weather, the warmth, the things that he chooses to remember." So no, he is giving us that cultural identity, but also just the perseverance, right? That's the common thread through all of this. And he said he's so grateful for little things like having water, being safe, being able to go to school. He cited those as things to be grateful for. And I think if you're born in a Western country that's very stable and you have, a middle-class upbringing, those are not things you necessarily always appreciate as much as you should. And he's just got such a fresh perspective.
No, you're so right.
He's so touching.
Yeah, in that interview, I really thought he brought such a kind of bundle of joy to everything. It really put into perspective just kind of life, almost in quite a juvenile way. Is that he still retained that kind of kid that just arrived in the Netherlands, really, really young, really happy. Everything was new. Everything was exciting. He even said that to you. I think he was like, every day I get out of bed and it's just a new day and I'm excited to be alive.
Oh my goodness. To me, the most interesting detail is that in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, he did not go to school, full stop. There was not access to basic education. And so suddenly he's in the Netherlands attending school, which would be a very foreign experience if you had never done it, and in Dutch. We would not be thriving in that environment. There you go. So many challenges all at once, and then he managed to overcome, and now he's this pop star. It's just beautiful.
No, exactly. And what is beautiful, I think, is also that he just brings in that element, so you can actually imagine him as I don't know how old he was when he moved.
9.
So as a 9-year-old, he's come from a French-speaking country. He's trying to learn Dutch, that flicking between languages all the time, which he brings to the song, right? It's sometimes in love, sometimes miserable.
It's cute. Example. I love that part. I think that the switching is quite smooth. C'est comme si, c'est comme ça, et en bas. It goes up, it goes down, and around, and around. It's very natural.
Yeah, and that is what children coming from multilingual homes will tell you. I mean,
things come in and out, yeah. And he made a very interesting point. I asked him, is French from DRC different from French in Belgium and in France? And the reason I asked that is there was a wave of hate in the Euro fandom after the song came out saying, this is incorrect French. This is not how you say it. That sounds weird. And I was thinking, he's a native French speaker. Like, literally, he's a native French speaker, but he speaks French from Democratic Republic of Congo, where, yes, indeed, people would have their own accent, their own way of emoting. And so I wanted to ask him that so he could, explicitly state that, yes, people do speak French differently in different places. Just for the record.
Doesn't make it any less of a language.
No, it's his way of speaking French. I don't know why people struggle with that.
I think it's very interesting. It's a very interesting choice for the Netherlands, especially, we've seen Europe becoming very kind of, not to take it too political, but like moving to a kind of anti-immigrant stance, getting very far right, and they're sending someone who's been in the Netherlands, 15 years or something, born in other countries, bilingual, it's almost the antithesis of what this shift we're seeing across Europe.
And Claude never, leans into the trauma of the backstory. He's not portraying himself as a victim in any way. It's always the journalists who bring it up, like me. 6 million people have died in the Democratic Republic of Congo since 1998, I believe. And yet this crisis is rarely talked about, certainly here in the UK. It's like one of the world's forgotten crises, but it's absolutely massive. And so for him, surely in his head, he still knows what's going on in his country of birth. And so I think that's another reason he appreciates all the opportunity and success that's coming his way.
Yeah. I want to leave the audience with how he experienced watching Eurovision for the first time with his family?
I came to the Netherlands and we were at home, just chilling, just watching television. We didn't know what to watch because we were also new in this country, and in Africa we weren't even watching it, and or instead of watching it, and we were just tuning and zapping, and at the moment we just saw like uh, uh, someone singing "Rise like a phoenix," and I was like, "Whoa, this is insane!" And all those people with the flags and everybody enjoying it and different flags, and we're like, wait a minute, let's continue, let's watch it, let's watch this. And we saw like Ilse de Lange and Velen, I think the Common Limits from the Netherlands, and everything was so different, everything was so fun and so nice to see, like everybody enjoying it, and that music was actually combining everybody, like getting everybody together, and it was amazing to see. And I was like, with my family, we were like, what is this? And what's happening? And why? What is this? So that was the first time watching it. And that's also in the music video, like the younger version of me, like tuning and zapping and just hearing a snippet, a tiny bit of Rise Like a Phoenix. And then the winner is like, I was like, well, we're just gonna add it in, because that's also my first time getting in contact with Song Festival. So that's the story behind it.
And what's it like for you to know that there will be people new to the Netherlands now, and the first thing they will know of Eurovision is Claude?
It's insane. It's actually really insane. I already got a lot of messages from people around the world watching me dance and getting inspirations from me, and that means a lot to me, because it's also me. I was also a small boy watching something, and look where I'm now, and having the thought of someone also watching me and getting inspiration from me. It's unbelievable. Like, it's really unbelievable the impact you can have on someone's life. So I also told it to Conchita afterwards. We were talking, and she was like, yes, I couldn't imagine it. Like, it's insane how one person can have an impact onto someone else's life. And yes, we're just going for it. I hope I can reach a lot of people. A lot of people can think, well, life, it can be tough, but sometimes you can be grateful or thankful for a lot of things, and just positive vibes.